Hello and welcome back to another video here at Ottr, and today I want to speak to you about infinity coves, cycloramas. I want to talk about why we got it, how much it cost us to build this thing, how much we charge it out for, how quickly we kind of recuperate the costs on that, and what we use it for day to day. So before March of last year, we shot pretty much exclusively on paper. And as fun and as easy and as cheap as that was, it had insane limitations because our studio at the time was the size of my fiance called a small bedroom. So we mainly shot on 1 meter to 1.5 meter side backdrops over a table, really had stuff where you could do anything kind of large scale. So in terms of what we could actually use it for, it was very limited, and obviously we couldn't hire it out to clients. Whenever we needed to do studio work, we had to go out and hire it ourselves and pay that cost. So what's it made out of? It's wood, it's MDF, it's 18 mil deep on the bottom, 9 mil on the walls, and then on the curve it starts at 9 mil and gets into 18 mil on the bottom. So it has a bit more of strength. There's a lot of things with paper that make shooting quite difficult sometimes. For example, if you want to go wide enough to make it really useful, you need to go for a 2.72 meter roll. And that's normally a two-man job to install and put it up onto tripods to hold. And furthermore, it's a really, really awkward thing to store and transport. The other problem with paper is you will end up buying roll after roll after roll. This whole unit here cost us £3,500. That's labor, materials, installation, everything. But the nice thing is, because you're investing in something that's a bit more useful, you can normally charge more for the service of people using it. Price for a good cove outside of London, people charge anywhere from £200 to £400. So you can kind of work out how quickly you can make your money back on these sorts of things if you have the business coming in. So when we moved into the studio, we thought, yes, let's build it, because even if we don't hire it out, if we don't use it, we know that internally we'll use this for our own projects. So all in all, it's one of the best financial decisions we've made as a company is installing something like this. Because A, we get use out of it, B, we hire it out, and C, it gives us really good practice for lighting. So if you want to hear about how we use it creatively, I'll now pass that on to my very handsome creative director, Dan.
Yes, thank you, Ben. So I thought it'd be a cool angle to talk about why this space is good for me as the creative in the business. This has enabled us to really kind of branch out into new ideas and also just have a setup that's constantly here. It's not until you have something like this at the end of your fingertips that you realise how useful it really is. With the drop of a hat, we can come into this studio, we can light it in many different ways and produce loads of different films that we've been able to do. And I think also the other cool thing that we could do with the space, which I'm not too sure Ben would be up for, is we could, if we wanted to, repaint this whole thing a different colour. So yeah, I think it's now time for me to pass over to Max, who's going to talk to you a bit about how he's lit this cove and how he can make it look really sick.
Thank you, Dan. So, I have had the pleasure of lighting a lot of the series that we've been working on. Things like the Rick's Toxic Tendies, our own in-house tattoo tour, our 5 essentials that we did with everyone, even little side projects like B-roll for internal YouTube videos. Having something like this backdrop has allowed me to really focus on my lighting skill and develop it over the last few months. And with such a mixture of projects that we're able to work on, it's really, allowed us to hone in the craft of lighting and really progress in our filmmaking.
To wrap up the point, it's totally worth installing one. It gives you so many more options for work you can do, whether photography or videography. We use it all the time for our own work and client work. It's paid for itself within the first 2 months of us installing it, and it looks really cool.